What is going on, everybody? I hope you are doing well. It feels like it has been forever. I think it's been about 2 weeks since I last put out a video, so I apologize for that. But after the holidays, things got a little crazy. Back in school and work, and just life happened. So I wasn't able to crank out a video, and I didn't want to crank out a poor quality video for you guys, me being tired or something like that. So recently, me and the family went on a trip for the holidays up to upstate New York, and that was a 24-plus-hour drive up there. My wife has a Toyota 4Runner, if you're curious, but you can see all that stuff in the video. If you guys have not seen the videos, I will link it right here so you can go check those out. So I'm going to tell you guys 10 different items that I thought was important for me to bring on this road trip. Now we're talking about items that are going to be important in case of emergencies, worst case scenarios, or if you have to fix something on the side of the road, things like that. We're not going to get into, bring this heated blanket. We're not going to go that deep. But before we get into those items, I want to talk about some things you should do before you get onto that road trip. Big important thing is you want to get your vehicle serviced. I suggest that you get the oil changed, unless you just got it done. Get the oil changed, make sure it's checked out, make sure the fluids are good, especially that blinker fluid, because you know you're gonna need it. And you want to make sure that the wiper fluid's good. Make sure that your windshield wipers are good, especially if you're going north. We went up north, there's a chance of snowing and icing and things like that. You want to make sure that you have good windshield wipers. Make sure the tires are good, you have good tire pressure. I would, they should check those when you get a service, but I would also double check yourself. Make sure that a good PSI in there. Make sure that you get a good night's rest before you go on these big trips. Rest is important. You want to make sure that you maintain energy, drink some energy drinks, try to eat good food, water on top of that. You don't want to be eating a bunch of junk food because you don't want to be going to the bathroom a lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, eat good food, bring snacks with you, and so forth. If you're feeling tired and you can't stay awake, stop. Find a rest area, pull over on the side of the road, whatever you got to do. Take a quick 20-minute power nap if you're trying to power through, or take an hour to a 2-hour nap, set an alarm, wake up and get back on track. But it's very important that you just get a little bit of rest, because you don't want to try to push through and be nodding off like this, because then you're putting your whole family's life at risk when you pass out because your body can't take it anymore and crash. So just get some rest. It's very, very important. Another thing you should make sure you have before you go on that road trip is roadside assistance with your insurance. Make sure that your insurance has roadside assistance. That's going to be very beneficial to you. I mean, we're talking about road trip on the side of the road. You can be stuck in the middle of nowhere. Your battery dies. It's going to be hard for you to get help when you don't know anybody in that state you're in. So roadside assistance is a really good, helpful thing to have. All right, and just a couple other things before we get into the 10 items that I brought. Is make sure that you have your license and your vehicle registration and your insurance with you, and make sure that you bring cash. You always want to have cash on hand. What if you get to a desolate area and the gas pumps aren't working with credit cards? Your credit card's not working, cash only, and you desperately need gas, and it's the only gas station available. Or if there's blackouts, you may need to buy something and there's no machines working whatsoever, they can't take your credit card. So it's always good to have cash on you. Bring a couple $100s with you. Whatever you're comfortable with, but make sure you have some cash. All right, guys, so that being covered, let's get into those 10 items. So being the police officer I am, I'm always thinking about, worst case scenarios. That's just how our mind works as police officers. We're always thinking about, what the worst case scenario would be and how to be prepared for it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this bleed control kit. So inside the bleeding control kit, it comes with a tourniquet. It comes with medical shears. It comes with emergency bandages, permanent marker so you can write down times, a compressed gauze, medical gloves, and instruction card on how to properly use all this stuff. So even if you're inexperienced in any kind of bleeding control things, this kit will be very beneficial to you because it comes with instructions on how to do that. This one does come with a tourniquet, but it's its own tourniquet, say a medical tourniquet. So I've also wanted to bring my own. And there's another reason I wanted to bring my own, and that's to our next item is tourniquets. This is a rat's tourniquet. So with this tourniquet, the reason I chose to bring this one over another cat tourniquet, which is like the one that's in the medical kit. The cat tourniquet is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. It's great for adults. And this is why I brought the rat, is because I have a 2-year-old and she has very small limbs. God forbid something happened, I would need to be able to put a tourniquet on her to stop bleeding. These are I mean, this section right here won't even bend around her arm because they're so small. So with the rat's tourniquet, you have such a small, tight thing there. It's going to wrap around nice and tight. It's going to stop the bleed. It's going to work really well for those smaller, younger children, those little humans that we have. So it was important to me to bring this along as well, just in case. Another good thing is Fix-A-Flat. Now, a lot of the cars these days aren't coming with spare tires. Some of them don't come with spare tires, and that can be a little scary going on a road trip. Luckily with our car, we had a full-size spare, so I mean, we had that too. But even if you have a spare, don't just trust that alone. What if you get 2 flat tires? I mean, think about those things. So Fix-A-Flat is a really great thing to get, and the new ones are even better. You know, if you have a new car, you have a tire sensor in it, they are now tire sensor safe. This is for the large tires, so if you're driving in a larger tire vehicle, make sure you get the larger tire one. You get one that fits properly to whatever vehicle you're taking with you. Really highly recommend that you bring these on any kind of road trip. And not even just road trips, just keep one in your car all the time. All right, another thing I brought with me is, of course, a flashlight. So if your tire went bad and you had to change the tire on the side of the road, or if you had to pop the hood and check on something, or if you just pull over the side of the road for something, go to the bathroom, who knows, but you need a flashlight. All right, this is the one I brought with me. I've talked about this in a previous video, I think on the gift guide that I did. I talked about this briefly as for law enforcement purposes, but this is a nice just little flashlight to take with you. This one was about $20 at Walmart. Nothing crazy. But if you're into flashlights and you want something that's really good, after my trip, I actually ended up just picking up one of these recently. This one right here is an O-Light. This one is a Bushnell flashlight, and this one is O-Light. This Bushnell one's been just fine. The battery, AAA batteries go in this one. But this one obviously has a battery in it, but it is rechargeable, and it has different modes. It is super tiny, and it is crazy bright. So you can put it on this low mode, and then you double click, and it is insanely bright. So for such a tiny flashlight, I highly recommend this one. I've been really enjoying this. I've been going outside at night just to play with this flashlight. It's been a lot of fun. It's really nice. It's got a nice clip on it. I recently had a call out for work, traffic homicide call out. Went out there, brought this flashlight with me. Clips onto my hat. So you clip it on your hat and you can turn it on, and then you have a hands-free light there. So yeah, I mean, it's just a nice flashlight. So, and just so you guys know, I'm going to link all of these items down below in the description so you can easily find them. Another thing that I bring with me everywhere, and I think is just kind of an everyday carry kind of thing, but certainly on road trips as well, is a multi-tool. I think multi-tools are very important. They have many uses, and I mean, you can never go wrong with taking these with you. You never know what you might need a multi-tool for. You never know what you might need pliers for. Have multi-tool uses, and you just never know. So highly recommend you bring a multi-tool with you. This is the Leatherman Signal that I have. Leatherman makes a ton of different styles aimed around certain things. This one's aimed around basically survival. It's got a fire starter on it. It's got a whistle on it. Very cool multi-tool. But they have tons of options if you're interested in them. And there's also just cheaper brands too. But if you want a high quality product, I mean, obviously you're going to pay a little bit more. But Leatherman, you cannot go wrong with. Another good thing to have in your vehicle is a window punch. This is just a basic cheap one that was given to us by an insurance company, but it will work. It's got the fine points here. You want to hit the fine points at the corners of the window to break it, and then it's also got a seatbelt cutter on it, so a very nice sharp blade there. Also, if you want to buy a knife, you can buy a knife that has those things built into it. Usually the knife will have it built in on the end, and then I'll have a seatbelt cutter somewhere on it. But I highly recommend you always keep these in your car. Say you went off road into the water, you could use this to help break the window. Now, that being said, if you ever go off-road into water, the number one thing you want to think about before you think about anything else, as soon as you find out that you just landed in water, is to roll your windows down. Try everything you can to roll your windows down. If for some reason your windows aren't rolling down, break them. Because once that pressure builds, once your car goes down, that pressure builds, it's going to be very difficult for you to break that window and get out of the car. So try to get a window open somewhere on the car before that car gets submerged in water. That way you can get out. Another thing that is important for you to bring is chargers. Now, charging cables. This one is really good. It's got multiple USB things on it. It can reach way back into the back of your car. That way you're always having your phone charged. I recommend when you're on a road trip, try to keep your phone plugged in as much as possible, because obviously if your battery dies in your car, you're stranded on the side of the road, you want to be able to have cell phone service so you can call somebody. The last thing you want is your phone to be dead or close to dying and you run out of battery in your car and your car's not going to charge your phone, obviously. So you want to always try to keep it charged. Now, that being said, what if you forget? Another good thing to have is this little pocket juice or some kind of little battery pack charger. Fully charge it before your trip, and you can plug your phone into this and it will charge, or anything else that you might want to charge. It's got 2 USBs on here and a micro USB on this one. This is an older one. You can get newer ones that have, the USB-Cs in them and so forth. But we've had this one for a while. But definitely very important things to bring with you and keep in mind is to always keep your phone charged. And on the thought of charging, you want to have charger cables. Now, the downfall of having just cables is that obviously you need another battery. You need another car. If you can, we didn't bring one because we don't have one and I wasn't ready to spend the money on one, is a jump box. Now, they come in really, really small packages now that can just quickly put a charge to your battery, get it jumped so you can get to the destination and get a battery replaced or something. I'll highly recommend one of those too if you can pick yourself up one. I'll link one down below too as well. That way you can find the one I'm talking about. I actually have one at work. Wish I would have brought it with me for this video, but I didn't. But I will link it down below so you guys can pick that up if you're interested in a actual little powered jump box. Another thing I recommend is a dash cam. You see more and more these days that accidents and you're going to a different state, might have little different laws, but most driving on the road laws, most of your traffic laws are going to be very, very similar to all their states. But you can get in an accident there, and the last thing you want to be dealing with is fighting a ticket in another state because it seems like you were at fault when you actually weren't. If you can immediately show that video to the officer on scene, that's going to really help you out, and he's going to be like, oh, okay, this person just randomly backed up into you. You didn't actually rear end them. So that way there's not dividing stories, and it can be very specific in the actual police report when it happens. But this is the one that we got, Zero Go-Go. It's just a basic one that I installed in the car just to have that recording while we're driving, just for a little extra comfort. Taking a big road trip, you go into all kinds of different areas. You want to have that little extra insurance. So, and last but not least, the 10th item that I highly recommend that you bring is obviously your firearm. Of course, you want to bring this self-protection. You never know what kind of situation you're going to run into being on the road. And you always hear about it in the news, and a lot of people don't think it's ever going to happen to you, but what if it does? So always try to bring a firearm with you. And the important thing is, whatever states you're going through, research their laws on firearm carrying within the vehicle. In case you get pulled over or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're following the proper laws and storing that firearm. Make sure that if you have a concealed weapons permit, that they accept your concealed weapons permit in that state. Most states will accept Florida's concealed weapons permit, but just make sure that you're following the law so you don't get yourself in trouble. But I do highly recommend that you bring your firearm with you. That way you are keeping your family safe, and it's just peace of mind. So yeah, guys, that is the 10 items that I think are probably one of the most important things that you should bring with you. Of course, there's probably several other things that you should bring with you on long road trips. We can get into bags you're carrying, things you should bring for your children, all that stuff. But I just wanted to cover some 10 basic things as far as safety goes while you're on this road trip. That way it just keeps you a little bit of peace of mind. People don't usually think about these things when they go on a road trip, or they think about, we got to get our clothes, we got to get our chargers, we got to get the iPad for videos, we got to get this luggage carrier, what kind of snacks should we bring, and things like that. We could get into all that stuff, but I just wanted to talk about the, essential things in case of emergencies, things you don't typically think of, and in the worst case scenario that you are going to need and are going to be very helpful to you. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing videos. We like to have fun on this channel. I have high goals for this channel this year, so I need your guys' help. I want to reach 10,000 subscribers this year. I know that's probably really high, but I think if we push through and you know, we'll keep going with this, we can do it. So help me out, guys. Share the video with grandma, whoever you want to share it with. And guys, if there's anything that I did not mention that you think is very important, please link it down below in the comment section so everybody that views this video can look down there and see other items that we should probably bring. I didn't want to make this video crazy long. I could have gone on forever, but I didn't want to do that to you guys, put you through all that suffering. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.